Okay, so welcome to Sped 801, school law or Sped law, and this is an 8-week course. So we just finished the first 8-week course, and you guys are in the second one. So it's good to have you, and got to find out just a little bit about you before we started there, the first few minutes, and kind of where you're located. So my name is Dr. Matt Posey. I'm here in North Central Oklahoma, kind of between Oklahoma City, Tulsa, and Stillwater, and this is my 28th year in education. Been a school superintendent for about the last 18. It's building principal before that. And then I also do some contracting on the side, do a lot of school psychometry work. So I go in and do the testing for students with suspected disabilities. I'm one of the individuals that'll come in and administer the test and come back to the team and present those results and make recommendations based on how that student scores. So done a variety of things, and then do this for Fort Hays on the side as well in my spare time, and then also teach class for Southern Nazarene University here in Oklahoma. They have a program for preparing students for school administration, superintendency, and school principals. So have a lot going on, but it's good to have you guys here. I'm going to tell you briefly a little bit about our class tonight, being the first meeting, kind of what to expect and how this will roll moving forward. So we will do a Zoom meeting, touch base each Thursday evening due to the 8-week course, just to make sure that everybody's progressing along. They're not mandatory. I'll be available every Thursday at 7:30. I will always record them, and then I will post them. I know you guys have a lot going on. You may be coaching some. You have family, kids, and trying to balance everything. So I get it. Life happens. I totally understand that. And then trying to balance that out with graduate school. So if you can't make one of the sessions, don't stress about it. Don't worry. I'll always record it. And then later that night, later Thursday night, I'll have it posted on Blackboard, and you can always go back and review it. One of the main things I always tell my classes, and we tell all the new students that we interview as they're applying to get into the program, amongst the instructors when we have the interview panel, is communication is key in these classes. I'm probably one of the easiest guys to work with in some of the classes you'll have, as long as you just communicate with me. I know stuff comes up. You guys are going to have school events in the evenings. Again, I said most of you guys might be coaching. Stuff happens. If you get behind on some assignments, just shoot me an email, let me know. I'll work with you and give you some extensions on that. My goal is basically to make sure you guys are successful getting through this course, and all of us as instructors, we want you to complete the program as well. So I'm not here to be a barrier or cause any roadblocks for you, but we want to help you and coach you through this and see everyone get their masters and go on and get your license in special education. So this class mainly is a lot of case study. You guys will have case studies to do throughout the 8 weeks. This first week's pretty light. Basically, you just have to do a discussion board and do, the little plagiarism quiz and some things like that to kind of get you some easy points and get you rolling. And then next week, we'll actually go in and read some articles that are posted on Blackboard. And so your first paper that'll be due, not this Sunday, but the following Sunday, which will be, I think, April the 3rd, if I remember correctly, will be the Changes in Education paper. And we're going back to around 1965. You'll have some articles to read, and basically you're going to go in and do a summarization. You'll see the rubric calls for like 800 to 1,200 words. So it's not a big, long, lengthy article. We don't just try to pile a lot of work on you, but also we want you to be able to give us some feedback on that to make sure you have a true understanding of what we're looking at that week. So basically it's going and looking at cases in history that were kind of some pivotal points in special education, going back and looking at how special ed has changed from about 1965 moving forward up until present day. So there's been a lot happened since that time. And when you go and look at those articles, you're going to see that how it's kind of progressed through time. Some of the articles are going to mainly deal with special services and specifically looking at civil rights. you guys know in your short amount of time in special education, what really focuses more on the civil rights side? Anybody want to take a guess at that?
Is it idea?
Well,
No.
more you have IDEA, so we
Yeah.
look at IEP, and then what's another form of an individualized plan, but it more works on uh, medical disabilities.
That's 504.
504, there
Yep.
you go. So 504, it's going to talk some of the things you're going to read for this first paper you're going to submit, talking about 504 and civil rights and ADA compliance and things like that. So then, as Sandy mentioned, you have IDEA, and that's been updated and kind of renamed and revamped through the years as well. So you'll see the changes that were made there, and a lot of it goes back to President Johnson in the 60s and moves forward, and you'll read about some things that were proposed by President Reagan, some changes, and then also when we get into the Bush years, and you guys may not have been in education that long when President Bush was in, but he had a big educational plan that was proposed. Anybody know what that was?
No Child Left Behind.
No Child Left Behind, which brought up a lot of high stakes testing, right? That's kind of when we got into high stakes testing, was going through there. So it's going to talk about all the different changes pertaining to testing, special education, civil rights, all kind of wrapped in. So it'd be a little bit challenging trying to summarize all that and kind of condense it all down. But it did, like I said, that particular assignment, it doesn't have to be 4 or 5 page deal. I mean, it's just a brief overall summary to make sure you kind of got all the information there. Then there will be some additional court cases that we'll study as we get on into the program. We'll talk a little bit about services that are expected to be provided by your districts, even when we're looking at child fine services, what are going to be the legal expectations of your district when we're looking at students that are homeschooled. What are your districts legally obligated to do there as far as providing services and screenings? And so as we get into the 8 weeks, we'll study more of that around week 6, week 7. And so it'll be some maybe some eye-opening experiences as we look at those court cases and talk a little bit about those. So the assignments through the course, like I said, a lot of them are going in and summarizing those court cases and doing that. There is one final at the end, and it's a multiple choice. It'll be like 50 questions, and it'll all be specifically over those cases that you've studied. Okay. And what I will do going into that finals week, I'll do a Zoom session where basically all I'm going to do is go over the questions that you can see on that final. So there's not going to be any surprises for you. I did that for the first 8-week group, and all of them, I think, probably 95% of them made an A on that final. So pretty detailed. I'll go over questions that may not be word for word what you'll see, but they're going to be extremely similar to what you'll see on the final. So it'll be a timed deal. You have like 2 hours to complete it. I'll open it up like on a Monday, and you'll have all that week until that Sunday to get it done at your convenience, as long as you get it done in there. So the semester will move quick. So school's going to be out before you know it. Is there any specific questions you want to ask of me? Like I said, this first night is basically just to kind of go over the course, tell you a little bit about the assignments and kind of the expectations, and then also just communication. If you guys email, I'm an early morning guy, so I check my emails early in the morning. Usually I've already checked them and started my day before about 6:30 in the morning. And then I'll come back again after 5 o'clock and check them again. So if I miss you on the front side, I always will catch you on the back side after that 5 o'clock. So always try to get back to you that same day. If you submit assignments, when you submit them on the due dates, which all of them are going to be due on a Sunday, always put it at midnight on Sunday. It gives you that weekend time in case you've gotten sidetracked during the week with school things or family, whatever's going on. So when those are due, I usually start grading them as they come in. So if you submit a little bit early, always try to grade those and get them back to you, even if it's before the due date. And then if you submit them that Sunday night, always try to have them back to you before the end of the day on Tuesday. So always try to make sure I've got a quick turnaround time for you. So, any questions? Went through a lot in a short amount of time, quick. Also, I'm not one that likes to just drag it out and keep you tied up for an hour at a time either. I mean, I like to get right to it, go over it, because I know you guys have a million things going on as well. So,
I guess my biggest thing is I am more a creative writer, not a
Mhm.
formal writer. So the papers are kind of freaking me out.
well, with this class compared to some of the other ones, Megan, we want to see you put them in a APA format and all that. But as far as the strictness on the grading, like I said, most of these are going in and summarizing those articles that we're asking you to read on those court cases. It's not so much as formal as if you were sitting down to write a midterm paper, or if you were working on your doctoral dissertation or anything like that. So I'm pretty relaxed on the grading. Make sure you go through and do check for grammatical errors, mechanics, things like that. I will mention this to you, and I'm just in general, not toward anybody, because tonight's first night of class, but just in general, because we ran into a little bit of a deal, our instructional team. But so I just want to mention this to you guys. Make sure the work you're doing, it's yours. Turn it in. We've ran into a couple incidents in the last 3 months where, I mean, it was just blatantly obvious that they went in and plagiarized and pulled it. And so don't do that. I'm just throwing that out there. Don't do that. Okay. Like I
Okay.
said, these are pretty informal summaries that you're submitting to me. Okay. Take a little time, take your time, put some thought into it. Don't just sling crap down on paper and turn it in. Okay. Put a little time into it, a little thought. Okay.
Okay.
Any other question?
Hey, what book do we need for this class?
You really don't.
Okay,
You really don't need a book for this class, because all the articles you have are right here in this Blackboard shell. Okay. So you really don't need to run out and buy anything for this class.
So on the syllabus, it said that like it was.
I lost you there. Froze up a little bit on me.
Oh, sorry. So we don't actually need the. It was on the syllabus, I think. It was like
It's the
the law and
Kansas
special
State
education.
Special Ed Handbook.
Well, there was that, but then there was also like the law and special education by like something Yale or something.
You really
Yeah.
don't, unless you just want to buy it and get it as a reference for you later on, because everything you're going to need for this class is on the shelf.
Okay.
It's in there already. There's links to the articles and all that. So, but again, if you want to order the book from Yale that Yale has written, I mean, you're welcome to do that.
Oh, yeah, I ordered it because it was on the syllabus.
Yeah.
And it's set up on Blackboard. Like it takes you straight to the bookstore link to buy
Yeah.
it. So I've already read the first about 2.5 chapters in.
Good.
I just ordered it on Amazon today. So
I tell you one thing too, and I don't know if you guys have done it instead of going and buying it, is I don't know if you guys have rented them before. I remember in my doc program, I would go on Chegg was a good one, Chegg. I mean, you could order it, rent it. Sometimes they were $15, $20, $40. It just kind of depended on what the text was. So
Yeah,
I've
rented from Amazon before.
Yeah. So,
So
okay. Any other questions? Okay, so really this week, you just have the discussion board and going through the little quizzes on there, the APA quiz, plagiarism quiz, and then you'll get right in. The following week will be when the changes in education papers did, okay? And I'll be on next Thursday night, 7:30, and we'll go over some things. If you can't make it, it's recorded. Easy enough? All right, if you guys think of anything after we get off here, just shoot me an email and I'll answer your question or get right back to you, okay?
okay, thank
All
you.
right,
All right.
thank you guys.
you.
Have a good evening. Look forward to it.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. You bet.